Chelsea Football Club, you have some explaining to do. Because the reality is Moises Caicedo has come out and exposed everything that was going on under Mauricio Pochettino. And when I tell you this is damning on Mauricio Pochettino and potentially could be massive for his future employment. Honestly, the ramifications are wild. Furthermore, Enzo Maresca has been announced. A lot of people are saying aura. A lot of people are saying, oh my God, I'm excited. I'm just saying, let's get into it. Let's start the work. I've got the key things that he said in his interview, and after that I just want him to get to work. Furthermore, Ben Chilwell, it looks like the interest is real. Sammy Mokbel's coming out, and when Sammy Mokbel comes out, you know there is actually credible information there, and there's some things to get our teeth into because there's a juicy story there. And finally, Estevao Willian. Well, you know what? We signed the 17-year-old and the people were like, oh, we're going to have to wait until he comes back. But what he's doing in the Brazilian Serie A, oh my God. The goal he scored, the assist, and more importantly, he's leading his team to a potential title. Let's get into it. Let's break it down. All I ask from you lot is number one, hit that like button. Number two, subscribe to the channel because it's the easiest way to support. And number three, if you just want to support me in general, in the pinned comment is my Instagram. Go follow me there. Best place to interact with me about football. So let's get started. Story number one is regarding Moises Caicedo, and what I am going to say is, I told you so. I told every single one of you on this platform, and I got a consistent comment that really annoyed me. It was, you think you know better than Poch? Do you think you know better football than Pochettino? Well, evidently, I can understand what I'm seeing with my eyes because I've watched the football in a long period of time. And the reality is, Moises Caicedo sat down and had an interview in Ecuador, I think, while he's at the Copa America. And this interview exposed everything what was wrong under Mauricio Pochettino. Number one, he said, I came from a system where it was tactical on the ball to all of a sudden run. Can you imagine? He went from Brighton, where he is expected to dominate the ball, consistently control the game, be in possession of the ball, to all of a sudden as if he's a mid-table team. I said this. I said we were structureless. There was zero control in how we played. It was basketball. It was I touch, you touch. It's you attack, I attack. I said this. People said, no, you're making it up. We've got control. The players just can't do it. That was instructions from Mauricio Pochettino. Furthermore, he said his agent in February decided to hire an external source to review his games, to assess his performances, and more importantly, help him with his confidence. I'm sorry, what is Mauricio Pochettino getting paid for? What was Mauricio Pochettino doing? Because the reality is, if this player was low on confidence and we are not getting results, where is the feedback from within Chelsea? Chelsea Football Club need to be a top institution. And to be a top institution, you need to have all this already available for these players. Why has Caicedo got to go externally and his agent has to go and find him something to do of this magnitude? This just highlights, right, all these stories that the players loved Pochettino. Not all of them, because this is just one of many. And the final thing that I'm going to say is, Caicedo openly said at the start of the season, the players and him especially, they didn't like playing at home. They preferred to play away from home because it was toxic at Stamford Bridge. Guys, all I'm going to say is, if the results are bad, it gets toxic because fans have certain levels of expectation. And you know what? If you're putting in everything and you can see that the team is organized, fans at Chelsea back the team. Honestly, I have not seen a fan base be more patient with Mauricio Pochettino's nonsense at Chelsea than we have ever with any manager. Fans were more annoyed at Mourinho at times in his second run-in, and he just delivered us a title. They were more annoyed with Conte, and he delivered us a title. Yet, under Mauricio, fans were willing to accept it a little bit, and it was driving me crazy. But the reality is, the players were struggling under that, and so it's up to the manager. All I'm going to say is, players have to have an element of individualism. I think modern day players, 95% of them are systemic hit players. Like this system, I'm fantastic. In this system, I'm okay, I'm good. You can't be like that, man. You need to have some individualism. You need to know, nah, I'm not listening to him now. We're controlling the game. We need to do this. However, I also question what Pochettino was doing. Because for me, It was evident from day one. You have a tactical team, a team that is expected to be technically imposing. Yet you opted to have Conor Gallagher be the star of your show. You opted to have players like Ben Chilwell playing left wing. You don't think these are conversations that were happening? And I promise you, these conversations were held not only behind closed doors, they would have been vocalized in between conversations between staff and players. It is absolutely wild to me that Moises Caicedo had to go and externally get assistance, when in reality, it's our job as Chelsea Football Club to provide him with an element of security and the best platform to perform. Because what it was Poch and his assistants hired to do. They failed. For me, it is evident why we finished 6th. It is so evident why we finished 6th, and it's so evident why we played that ugly brand of football. Enzo Maresca finally got hired today. We got the official announcements in his nice suit, looking very nice. You know, everything's crisp, nice hair, fresh haircut, that bald head shining as ever. However, I don't care. A lot of people coming out with the aura. Oh my god, he's got mystique. Oh my god, look at him. The aura. Just say you fancy him, man. Enough is enough with this aura nonsense. Because the reality is, yeah, I don't care what he looks like. He could be ugly, he could be beautiful, he could be skinny, he could be fat, he could be healthy. I don't care. I just want him to be a good football manager. Genuinely, I could not care what he looks like at all. I just want him to be a good football manager. I want him to do the fundamentals that I want from him. The one thing I already liked that he said, and the only thing I took away from that 5-minute interview, I've watched a lot of Chelsea matches, 2 to 3 weeks. I know the players I have. Shout out to him. Evidently, none of this nonsense is going to happen. Everyone gets a clean slate. No, not everyone should get a clean slate. You've watched enough of last season to know what this team is. All right, Ben Chilwell, we'll talk about him later. One of the first to go, please. Por favor. All right? But what I want from him, and this is very simple from Maresca, what I want to see from the first 19 games. I want to see an element of structure. I want to see that when we're off the ball, we do not have an open gaps, good shape within us so that we don't leak goals and teams don't play through us very easily. When we're in possession, we are not easy to counter against. And more importantly, the biggest one of all, I want to see us dictate games. Yes, people are going to say, oh my god, Alex, you can't ask for all of that in 19 games. I'm not saying for us to be perfect. I want to see symbols of it. I want to see us actively look at this and say, you know what? I see what we're doing here. We're building towards something. Secondly, I want to see results. I'm not saying I want to win 19 out of 19 games, 18 out of 19 games. I want to win at least 12 out of 19. I want to win 11 out of 19 because that just all of a sudden puts us in top 4 contention straight away. And more importantly, it tells us, well, if we're starting like this, what are we going to be in the second end of the season? What are we going to be when the players get more familiar with his tactics? What are we going to be when he actually starts to implement his more complicated systems? For me, that is important. If I get that in the first 19 games, you will not hear me complain. You will hear me criticize performances. You will hear me praise performances, but I will not be negative regarding the direction the club is going in. Because I think the squad is good enough. Even if we don't sign any more players from now till the end of the season, I genuinely believe this squad is good enough to make top 4. We sign another player, as in a goalkeeper, sky's the limit. I genuinely believe it. Like, if he is as good of a manager as they're selling us that he is, this is going to be an exciting season. I told you guys a few days ago, and I reiterated it again. Alex Goldberg has been saying that he has heard, as well as the United stand, Sam, has heard that Chelsea have been in conversations with Manchester United over a left back. And the left back was Ben Chilwell going the other direction. This is where it gets interesting for me, because the reality is Ben Chilwell's not good enough to be at Chelsea anymore. And if Manchester United want him, they can take him. 13 million, that's all it's going to take for his book value. But, and this is a big but, this is where it gets super interesting. Now Sammy Mockbell's coming out. When Sammy Mockbell comes out, you know there's more credence there. Because we've already got 2 ITKs that have coming out. One from Manchester United side, one from Chelsea side. Now we're getting Sammy Mockbell, who is a journalist and is very credible on Chelsea, Arsenal, United news. And we know that. First things first, if Ben Chilwell wants to leave, please do. Secondly, I don't think it's a coincidence that Enzo Maresca has started his job, has said he's been looking at videos from 2 to 3 weeks, and now, all of a sudden, we're getting Chilwell leaving rumours. Personally, this sounds perfect. This sounds like Enzo's basically said, if we can get him out, get him out. Because he just doesn't fit the system. People aren't gonna like this. It's the harsh truth. It's the reality. Don't like it? It's my opinion. It is what it is. The final thing I want to talk about is about Estevao Willian. Estevao Willian has been a player that Chelsea signed, and there's a lot of promise for him. Right? A lot of people have said, look, this is going to be the next Neymar. That people have said he's going to be the next person that's going to break out and make Brazilian football sit up and say, oh my God, we've got another variation of Ronaldinho. We've got another variation of Neymar. We've got another variation of Rivaldo. Someone that is going to be transcended throughout generations, and people are going to remember this player as a great. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on this player because I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's realistic. I think when you're comparing people to all-time greats, you're setting them up to fail if they don't become an all-time great and they just become a great player. Like, it's just unfair. However, what this kid has done recently has been very impressive. In 11 games, he's got 5 goals at the age of 17. He's got 3 assists. But what interests me more than anything is his team's winning while he's doing this. These aren't empty calorie numbers. These are numbers that actually matter. This is playing under pressure. This is playing in a league title race. They are currently second place. I think Flamengo is first with, I think, 31 points. They're on 30 if I'm not mistaken. This is good. I want him to learn under pressure. I want him to develop. I want him to understand that the reality is he is going for a title. So he needs to be switched on going forward and switched on coming backwards. What was so interesting is I think the team is Bahia, BHHIA. Yeah, they were 5th that they played. Their manager was like, we can't stop him. We genuinely can't stop him. He scored an absolute banger where he gets the ball on the counter-attack, he chops the player, puts it top bin. Then on another counter-attack, he crosses it with his right foot, displaying his weaker foot ability. It was beautiful, great finish, on the run, no touch required. Honestly, we have got ourselves a great gem. I don't know whether he's going to reach the heights that people want him to reach, but it's a great start. And what I'm loving is playing. He's getting the minutes under his belt. He's getting competitive minutes in the sense that this isn't just throwaway youth team games. This is a player going after the Serie A title. Hopefully they're in a Libertadores. Hopefully that he has a good run towards the end of the season, finishes up with a Club World Cup, and comes to Chelsea straight to pre-season. That's going to be super exciting. This was the Kavkas View. I hope you lot enjoyed it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts. Peace out. I'm out. In the comments below, let me know how much you enjoyed this video. Bye.